Good morning and welcome to Falcon TV. It's Friday, January 22nd, 2021. I'm Nadia along with the rest of the FTV crew. Yesterday, in the first executive order issued by President Biden, the 100 Days Mask Challenge is a new face mask policy that will now require them in certain places. Biden's mask executive action will require compliance with CDC guidance on mask wearing and physical distancing in federal buildings, on federal lands, and by federal employees and contractors. This executive action will direct the agencies to take action to require compliance with the CDC guidance on mask wearing and physical distancing in federal buildings, on federal lands, and by federal employees and contractors. And while the order doesn't apply to all public areas, officials hope that local lawmakers will follow their lead. And the president will call on governors, public health officials, mayors, business leaders, and others to implement masking, physical distancing, and other public measures to control COVID-19. This is not a political statement. This is about the health of our families and economic recovery of our country.
Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer published results demonstrating their COVID-19 vaccine is equally effective against highly transmissible variant of the coronavirus that first emerged in the United Kingdom in December. Researchers have identified 8 key mutations on the spike protein of the UK strain that likely help the virus attach more efficiently to cells, increasing the chance of infection. Experts have suggested the variant may become the dominant strain in the U.S. by March. There is no evidence the UK strain or others that have recently emerged in Brazil, South Africa, or elsewhere is more deadly than the current variants.
Restaurants and bars are reeling from persistent spikes of coronavirus cases and related restrictions in their communities, driving retail spending in December down for the third month in a row. Even as people continue to splurge on shopping, they cut back on going out to eat and shop. Plus, the earlier than usual holiday shopping season meant online shopping as well as sales of electronics and appliances dipped in December. Gas stations saw the biggest jump in spending last month at 6.6% as people traveled for holiday visits despite health warnings. Overall, retail sales last month fell 0.7%. Compared to November, this measure is a major part of the U.S. economy, which continues to be battered by the pandemic. It includes spending on household goods, clothing, and housewares, as well as outlays on gasoline, cars, food, and drinks. The National Retail Federation's last economic review said the vaccine rollout plus a new round of federal financial relief holds higher promise for the spending at the start of the year, but stated we don't expect economic activity to return to pre-pandemic levels into late 2021, and employment at those levels won't return into 2022 and possibly 2023. In positive news, continuing to roar, the U.S. stock markets hit all-time high across the board, jumping on strong quarterly reports from key companies and the prospects of an additional economic stimulus. The performance continues an upward surge that comes despite an economy struggle with the effects of the pandemic, and Dow ended 2020 at all-time high end, risen 7.3% of the year. And as COVID deaths seem to be increasing, the average daily new cases in the U.S. have fallen for 9 days straight. The U.S. has distributed almost 36 million vaccine doses, while administering roughly 16.5 million doses.
In Hong Kong, Li Shaiwei, a 4-time winner of the Asian Rock Climbing Championship and who once ranked 8th in the world in the sport, had taken the challenge of climbing along the glass facade of the 1,050-foot Ninja Tower, a building as tall as the Eiffel Tower. He reached a height of about 750 feet, but when gusts grew stronger, Mr. Lai became concerned and called off the ascent. He was doing the climb for charity, and his efforts had helped raise $735,000 to fund research on a robotic exoskeleton for patients with spinal cord injuries. Mr. Li had exceeded his own expectations of strength, resilience, and decision-making during his 10-hour ascent. What makes this story even more remarkable is that several years ago, due to a car accident, Mr. Shai Wei was paralyzed from the waist down, so the climb he was doing was from his wheelchair.
As a climber and determined not to let the accident stop him, he had ascended Lion Rock, a steep mountain ridge that represents Hong Kong's spirit of resilience amid adversity, in his wheelchair in 2016.
This time the only difference were the high winds that whipped him relentlessly, rocking him to and fro, sometimes threatening to ram him into the building and tangling the ropes for over an hour, that he finally called off the climb, just a little short of reaching the top. Hong Kong currently is having issues with mainland China as well as COVID-19, and were inspired by Mr. Li and his determination.
Well, that's all for today. So from me and everyone here at Falcon TV, have a great day.